Hey, I'm Anya, Realtor with Bosley Real Estate and host of the Who's in My House podcast, the Toronto Real Estate podcast with expert perspectives and honest opinions. In our conversation, we talk about family planning in real estate and things that you should be looking out for when buying a house. Now, my guests have kids, and we talked a lot about the importance of school districts and certain factors that you need to look for in a house if you have kids or are planning to have kids. But as someone who doesn't have kids, I have dogs, and there are so many things to think about when you are looking at purchasing a property with a dog. You know, one of my biggest regrets with my house is that my backyard is one level of stairs down from my main floor. So one of my dogs is almost 11 and she has a hard time with stairs. And so going to the backyard is not easy for her because we have to help her up and down the stairs. My yard is also mostly hardscaped and surrounded by a garden. So there's not a whole lot of places for the dogs to rest or to play or to go to the bathroom. And those are things that I wasn't really thinking about when I was looking at a house. Other things that seem obvious are having a fully fenced in yard and honestly being on a quieter street where if we open the door and one of the dogs flies out, they're not running into the road and getting hit by a car, but you know, having a bit of a setback, having a porch where you can put a baby gate, or even just being on a quieter street are all things to think about to keep your dog safe. So these are just some of the things to think about as a dog parent when buying a house, but in our conversation, we talk a lot about things that you need to look out for if you have kids or are planning on having kids and are looking to buy a house. And another conversation that I think is so important to talk about is the general unprofessionalism in the real estate industry. And this is not to say that all realtors are unprofessional. There are a lot of really good agents out there, but I think that over the years, with the surge in number of realtors in Toronto and just the sheer amount of part-time realtors in Toronto, the view of the industry has become so diluted and people don't view it as a profession anymore. The general public has a lot of hatred towards realtors, some of which is warranted, some of which is not. But when there are constant articles in the news about realtors who have put their clients in difficult positions and are now getting sued or getting their licenses revoked, it doesn't help the public perception of the profession as a whole. So I sit down with my guests and we share some stories about specific situations that we've run into and how we would handle them. I hope you enjoy. Intro for people who may not know who you are.
Sure. Well, we all work in the same office.
We do.
Jen and I were in the same office before you joined.
Yes.
Thank God you did. And Jen is also, I've known her even before we got into real estate.
I know, we've known each other a long time.
Yeah. I mean, not to age us, but...
No, because we're like, what are we, 25?
Basically 20. So
you don't look a day over 24 and a half.
Thank you.
Thank you. But yeah, we've known each other a long time. So we're all real estate agents.
Yeah, and we've been in real estate for 15 plus years.
15 years, yeah.
Since you were 5?
Basically.
Yeah, pretty much. I've right out of the womb.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I thought.
You know, when you're born to do something.
Yeah,
I agree. And that's part of the reason why you are both here together is because you do have such a nice relationship and a very funny dynamic. So I thought it would
about that.
So I thought it would bring some comedic relief, but also lots of great questions to answer.
Okay. Well, we're looking forward to being
Okay,
here.
hit me up.
Okay, so first thing we wanted to kind of go over, you both have children at different ages. Also, 2 boys, 2 girls.
Yeah.
And, you know, for anyone who's maybe like looking to buy a house and is either planning to have kids or has kids, like, can we just talk a little bit about what people should be looking for when, you know, they're shopping for a family as opposed to just, you know, not really thinking about the future?
Well, obviously school districts play a huge role. If you're not sending your kids, even if you are sending your kids to private school, I still think the house in the neighborhood with a good school district is really important. Not only for yourself, but for resale down the road. Would you agree with that?
I would totally agree with that. I mean, I think school districts are probably one of the biggest factors that affect property value.
Yeah.
So 100% that's so important, but also like you don't really know what you're in for if you don't have kids yet. I was pretty green. Like you need more space than you think you need.
So much fucking storage.
They have so much shit that comes with them.
Like if you don't have a mudroom, you will have a mudroom. It's just a muddy room.
Yeah.
Like, well, that's a big thing. Yeah. Jen and I talked about this yesterday, was like, where are you going to put a stroller? You know, for anyone who's maybe shopping in the East End, like your classic East End semi does not have an entry closet or a mudroom. At my house, you walk right into the living room. So we had an enclosed porch already, but it was a dump. It was where the old owners kept their garbage bins. It was like cracked concrete. It was not insulated. So, you know, the wall was falling over. But we needed more space for our shoes and all of our stuff.
And with dogs.
Yeah. And I mean, we don't have kids, but for us, like, we were bringing dirty paws right into our living room. So we redid the mudroom, and it has made an astronomical difference to like the use of our space, but also just efficiency.
Yeah.
And I think another importance of a mudroom or an entry is, where are you going to put a stroller?
Yeah. Strollers are so expensive. They get stolen all the time.
Yeah, you can't leave it on your porch.
You can't bring them inside. It's gross. Like, those tires have been everywhere.
Yeah.
You bring it into your room. It's just not.
I mean, my stroller lived in my kitchen.
And you had your stroller for 7 years. Right? Like, you have them for...
No, so my kids are 18 months apart. So we had the stroller for, I mean, I think it was a good 5 years.
Yeah,
like
that's a long
solid
time.
5 years.
Okay, so you both immediately said school districts. Do you think that is more important in certain neighborhoods than others? You know, like and maybe it's when people are shopping that already have kids, but if I'm working with clients who don't yet have kids, but are planning on having kids, I find that there's less of an emphasis in the East End on school districts than I would notice in Midtown.
You do?
See, I would say the opposite, because I think like anywhere in Midtown, North Toronto, you're going
to land in a good spot.
You're in a good school district.
But some people want a specific school.
Some people do.
I find that's the case in the East End.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
I would say it's blended. Like, I've had some people that are like, we really want to be in Jackman, or but other people are like, I don't really care.
I think once people start in a school district and are in a school district and their kids have friends, then they're less likely to move out of that school district. Yeah. Unless it's for a specific purpose. But
yeah, I would agree with that. And I think some schools...
You become rooted.
Yeah, you become rooted. And there's something really nice, because then with good schools comes the community vibe. And they kind of go hand in hand. I think, like, you can walk to school, you can walk with your buddies, you can walk, like, so it's the,
and that means all your friends are within walking distance.
Yeah,
it's such a nice aspect of being part of like a school community.
Of staying local.
Yeah.
But so in terms of school rankings, obviously there's schools that people just know, it's the name. They may not even understand why they want to be in that school district, but like in the East End, people drool over Jackman. Everyone wants to be in Jackman. Oh my God,
I know.
And
it's insane. And to be fair, sorry to interrupt you, but my kids both went to Jackman.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. And it's overrated. Like, I'm going to be perfectly honest. Like, people were like literally drooling over it. I lived on the street that was the cutoff, and houses on one number went for 20% less.
Yep.
And it was great because I was in it. So it was, it fared well for me. But it was crazy, and I couldn't understand it. It was like Jackman. I'm like, well, what's wrong with Franklin? It's right down the street. They have a pool, and pool's amazing. And it was, and I think people get so caught up in it and they look at that Fraser Milner.
The Fraser
I don't
Institute.
understand how that's...
So that was the next thing I wanted to talk about. Jen, I know that I asked you about this not long ago.
So the Fraser Institute rankings is based entirely on Ontario standardized testing.
Just grades,
right?
Well, no, it's EQAO scores, not just report card grades, right? It's specifically EQAO.
It's the standardized testing.
Yes.
Yeah. So if a school has a English as a second language program, or if they have a program for disabled kids, or if they have like a high percentage of non-English speaking kids, the scores will automatically go down.
Right.
Because they're not as fluent in English, and the tests are only in English.
Yeah.
So that will drastically affect the score of a school when it could be the best school.
Exactly.
And could have a great neighborhood vibe. Like, I think Leslieville is a pretty good example of that.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't score particularly well, but in terms of like recognition and reputation, it's very good.
Yeah, definitely.
Whereas like my kids go to John Ross, and like we don't have AC. Like
Yeah,
like it scores amazing, and the teachers have been good.
There's no AC box to go up.
There's no ACs, so like I'm keeping the kids home on 40-degree days.
Yeah. Well, and for example, I mean, I don't know what it's like for the rest of the school, but I do breakfast program at Blake Street, which is not necessarily considered the greatest school. I know that now there's a lot of people that are drawn to it for its French immersion program, but for the like standard English program, it's not necessarily known as like a great school that you desperately want to be in the school district for. But we were in the kitchen making pancakes this morning, and today is one of the heat wave days, and it was air conditioned. Like, it was fine. Yeah. I was surprised. But then you say your school, people love JRR.
Love it.
Like, desperately want to get into that school district.
Yeah, they pay a premium to go there. Like, to be in that neighborhood.
For sure. I mean, I did. Yeah. Like, example A.
Yeah. And as someone who did, do you have any regrets? Like, do you,
do I think I would have been better off in a different district? No, not necessarily. I mean, no. I think it's more about finding your own community within the community than it is. I don't think you have the ability to pick and choose without knowing it from the inside,
Yeah.
But you were saying, Anya, that you have like a lot of clients without kids. Do you tell them this is going to be important?
Yeah. So we will talk about it a little, but I find that it depends on the person. Some people really don't care because they either plan on sending their kids to Montessori or to private school or to French immersion. So the boundaries don't matter as much, or they just have the mentality of like, well, public school is public school. And I mean, because my general demographic tend to be first-time buyers or first-time upsizers, so like selling their first condo, moving into their first house, and are, growing their family, but haven't necessarily already had kids.
Yeah, so it's not top of mind.
It's not top of mind. So it is something that we will talk about, but often these people are either, the buyers are either willing to move at that point or kind of want to test out the school and see how it is. And, I have neighbors who have had their kid in 2 different schools already and still aren't really happy and are now switching the kid into a 3rd school. So I think it depends. And I also really think it depends on the teacher.
Yeah. Oh, the principals rotate, I think, every 3 or 4 years. Mm-hmm. So like Jackman had a great reputation, and then they had a new principal who nobody liked because I'm still on the Jackman Facebook group. And drama. And then so it's all like I had a client that lived in Jackman. They sent their kids to a private school. I'm like, guys, sell your house. You don't need to be in this district. Yeah. So then they bought in some shit school district, and
because they were already going to private school.
Yeah, and so they were already going to private school, and so then they moved to one of the lowest ranking school districts, and they didn't care. And we got a monster house. They built this palace, like the biggest house, and like that's exactly what you should be doing. Why would you pay the premium if you aren't getting the benefits of the neighborhood?
Yeah.
And the benefits of the neighborhood for small kids is being able to walk to school with their buddies, being able to not cross any busy streets. Like my kids go to a school that they cross no busy streets to get to. Like that's beautiful.
Yeah.
And if you're getting in the car every day and driving past all the kids walking to school,
what's the point?
What's the point? Yeah. Like save a ton of money.
Yeah.
Let someone else enjoy it.
Yeah.
I mean, there are other things, obviously, that make neighborhoods attractive. Like it's walkability and parks and all sorts of other things.
Yeah.
But if you're driving in the car every day for an hour.
Well, that'll kill your
no matter
what.
Yeah, but that was my experience. Like when I was growing up, I went to Clinton in Little Italy, and we lived so close that I would walk through the alley.
Yeah.
And either my mom or my grandma would watch me get to the end of the alley. As soon as I hit the street, I would walk by myself. And it was so close, but there were years where I had phenomenal teachers, and there were years where I had horrific, we had a teacher that kids feared and would literally pee their pants in class because she wouldn't let us go to the bathroom.
Is this high school?
Oh God.
This was elementary school. High school.
This was real estate college, wasn't it?
This was actually first year university.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, that's awful.
But then when I went to high school, I went for the gifted program.
Oh, sorry. Excuse me. Just round of applause.
Excuse me.
Bravo.
And as living in Little Italy, my home school for gifted was Northern.
Oh.
Which is insane.
Insane. So every day.
That's a trek.
I would walk to Christie Station. I would take line 2. Then I would hop off, take line 1 to Eglinton. Then I would take a bus to school. It took me an hour. And then by the time I was in grade 11 and 12,
Yeah, but look at you. You're so gifted now.
I'm so gifted.
You can traverse the subway system.
The best.
That's a gift in and of
The
itself.
best part of all, though, is that by grade 11, I dropped out of the gifted program.
Oh, no. Did you drop out or were you cut?
I dropped out.
Oh, okay, fine.
I dropped out because I went, this is like so irrelevant, but I went to an alternative middle school.
Oh,
by
badass.
choice.
Were you a druggie?
No. I was traumatized.
You didn't fit in with the mainstream?
Oh, weird. Shocker.
Do you know what?
Shocker.
I think what attracted me was that it was very small. We had 60 kids. It was 2 grades, 30 kids in each grade. That was it, 2 classes. So it was very tight knit. But yeah, I mean, tons of the kids were doing drugs in middle school, and I was like, whoa, because I was doing high performance sports, so I didn't do anything. I was just training.
Another flex.
Lauren,
who are we talking to?
I also used to model. What can't you
Next
do?
thing we know, she's going to be telling us she's royalty.
How many languages do you speak?
only 2.
Only 2. Shut
I'm
up.
just Anyways, alternative school did not prepare me. So I was
Well, then you went to Northern, which is the biggest school in the world.
Okay, so I started I was gifted program in elementary school, switched to alternative school.
Oh, Jesus.
Then I go to Northern, which is massive. There's like 2,500 kids.
Yeah.
It is huge.
It's a free-for-all. It's basically a prison.
It is basically
Gen
a
Pop.
prison. It was Gen Pop. Yeah. Yep. And I was like, I almost flunked out of grade 9. Like I was failing English and math because the school I went to, the alternative school, did not prepare me.
Shocking.
Yeah.
Are you surprised?
New?
Not at all. I too went to Northern for a couple years.
forgot that.
Yeah. My husband went to the gifted program there.
Ooh.
Would have been a few years before you.
Gifted
Just a
all.
couple.
Yeah.
We almost probably crossed paths at one point.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, by a couple decades. Yeah.
But anyways, it didn't prepare me. So all to say, the community, like, I didn't have that because all of my friends went to Harvard. I lost all of my friends from growing up because I was spending all my time commuting to Northern. And then all of the people there, like, we didn't grow up in the same environment. It was very different. I do still have some friends from high school, but it wasn't the same because it wasn't the community.
And that's why I think it's so important. Like, I look at my son who's graduating from Blythewood. He has this, 12-pack of buddies, and they're all going to the middle school together. They're probably switch up between Northern and Lawrence Park. But I'm like, this is the best. You're going to be friends forever.
Rival schools.
And rivals, yeah.
They're not going to be friends.
Oh, well, I think they
rival.
will see.
Yeah. No,
but I went to the same school. My best friends are when I was 4. Like, I'm still best friends with them.
Yeah.
And it's because I
You went to high school when you were 4?
I was gifted. I didn't want to bring it up, but
Wait, you were gifted too?
yeah, Doogie Hauser. But yeah, no, I went to the same school the whole way, community school, walking. Yeah, it was awesome. And I still have the same friends from when I've made a few more, but I've same friends.
1, 2.
Yeah, 1, 2. So yeah, so I have 4 in total. But yeah, all from elementary school. And I think it's so important. I can't imagine swapping out schools and having to commute. Yeah.
And I think that kind of segues into another thing we want to talk about is when you do have kids and you are planning a move, maybe it's an upsize or whatever it is, how do you manage, preparing them for that move, whether it's staying within the same school district or now you're moving and you're going into a new school, because it's obviously very confusing for kids.
Yeah, I think there has to be. Well, you're dealing with this. I don't know if we're going to talk about it, but we're going to.
Yeah, I'm just going to spring it on them the day before.
Okay, perfect. So hopefully they won't listen to this podcast.
I don't think they're listening to the podcast.
Well, let's hope not. When's the air date on this? We'll figure it out.
Are you going to tell them on the first day of
hey,
school?
Lucy,
No, but
Mama's
I'm
got to tell you something.
But I don't want them spending the whole summer worrying about it.
So you'll tell them on Labor Day.
I have one child that veers a bit.
Why am I wearing this uniform, Mom?
So I think like the week before, they've been to the school, they know about it. They know,
but they're at
what
a good
it
age
looks
to,
like. And they're going together too, and they're only 1 year apart. So I feel like it's not as
they'll be fine.
Scary. I mean, it's going to be an adjustment, but
oh, for sure. But I think a lot of people try and stay within the same school district.
Yep.
And it was like I moved my kids when they were in grade 3 and grade SK, senior. And it was a good time, whatever you call it, senior kindergarten.
SK,
And it was a good time to move because I got my oldest son, out of French immersion.
Right.
So there was like a reason to move. Like, you don't need to be in French anymore. We may as well move to a different school. And then SK, you can do, like, they're not doing anything. They're sharing.
The color.
Yeah, like it's, so
Sharing is
that
caring.
made sense. But like, to your point, like grade 4 and 5 and 6, like that would be a hard move.
Yeah.
And I think, I mean, kids are obviously resilient, but
Yeah, the older they are, the more rooted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's hard.
I would agree. I think the older they are, the more they understand and the more difficult it is mentally.
Yeah, and then even as they get older, like teenagers, they have all their phones and stuff, and then like it would be really hard to move, especially move. I mean, Toronto's a small-ish city; kids can move around and go visit, but school's hard for kids.
School's hard when you're and when you're moving in, like not at the start year.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
At whatever grade 9 or grade 7 or.
Well, in Harry's class, he was in grade 6. He had a kid arrive in March.
That's crazy.
Like mid-year, didn't speak a lick of English. I was like, what?
Well, so this is interesting. So I've spoken to some teachers about this, and they actually say that the kids tend to be more accepting of kids coming into the class mid-year.
Really?
Because when they first go back after summer,
they're all excited
to see each other.
Oh, that makes sense.
That they just kind of ignore the newcomers.
But mid-year, they're like,
mid-year, they're
who
like,
are
"Ooh,
you?"
you're new."
February's pretty boring. You gotta spice it up with someone from Mexico City coming in.
Woo! That was something that was not on my radar.
I get it. That actually makes perfect sense.
Right? So, I mean, there's
Hola.
a little...
Hola. Everyone will
tidbit.
get a new kid in class.
Yeah.
Is that your language that you speak?
No. Okay, and a couple other things. So we talked. Well, like just quickly back. We talked about mudrooms. Another one is
storage, mudrooms,
storage, glass railings on staircases, glass dividers.
It's never a good idea.
No glass.
No,
First of all, you're gonna get people running into it,
it's just dangerous.
and it's so dirty.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Just tape the Windex
Yeah.
to your hand.
Or just wear gloves.
Or bubble wrap it. I mean, there was a
Bubble wrap
period
the
of
kids,
time
you
where
mean.
I just wanted to bubble wrap everything.
Oh, it's awful.
Yeah, I just would look around a room and be like, danger, danger, danger,
literally-
sharp edge.
No, I hate glass railings. I mean, I guess in theory they look good in photos. Hate them. Not good for kids. You know what else is actually, I think, quite important? I don't know if you're going to agree with this. With kids, is having a main floor bathroom.
Yeah.
Just because
it certainly makes things easier.
Yeah.
Yes.
Especially, well, not only for you when you have little kids, but when your little kids
No, it's
start potty
training.
training.
Potty training.
Yeah, and like if your kid's in their, you know, whatever, I forget what it's called. My kids are too old
pack
now.
and play.
Pack and play. And even their
Exerciser.
What's the thing
the
that
circle
they
of
eat
neglect.
in?
They're high chairs.
High chairs. That's the
Dear
word.
Lord.
I'm sorry. It's
been a while.
I'm so old. When your kids are in the high chairs and you have to go to the washroom, you're not like you don't want to go up or down because
No,
you can't
like
leave them. So then,
Just drag the high chair with you.
yeah, or just go to the main floor, leave the bathroom door open.
That is something that I talk about with clients
Yeah.
who are like buying and plan on having a kid.
Yeah.
I'm like, if there isn't a powder room on the main floor, make sure there is room for one because like if the kid says I have to pee, do you want to
No, you're getting pissed
run
on.
up the stairs? They're gonna pee on you. They're gonna poop in your face.
Yeah, for sure. Shit
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah, I feel like
Especially if there's glass, it's gonna just ricochet everywhere. It's a disaster.
What a mess.
Yeah, what a mess all around.
And another thing which I guess maybe seems obvious is not being on a super busy street, even if it's a side street, but a busier side street, because kids, I mean, like on my street, the kids love to go out and play. Like
Yeah,
they're
your
playing
street's
in
really nice and quiet.
my street's but people love to.
Oh, I hate that.
I'm so crazy that I literally go outside and I yell at the cars,
Oh my
and I
God.
will stand in front of
I
them
do
if
too.
they go the wrong. If they're going the wrong
Petitioning
way.
for speed bumps on her street.
Oh, we got speed bumps. I'm very happy about it.
I mean, I hate speed bumps, but I
On
love
your
them.
street, you
yeah.
want a speed
Well,
bump.
like I literally like
Because you don't
how
have
dare you.
sidewalks, do you?
We have sidewalks.
Oh, you
yeah,
do?
yeah. I'm
Okay.
on the sidewalk part, south of us, like towards
Yeah.
Mildenhall doesn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, we like it has to. You can't be on a super busy street if you have young kids because if they bolt out the door, and the same goes for dogs.
Dogs.
If you have dogs, you can't be on a super busy street because
Yeah.
as soon as you open your door, if they go running, if you didn't grab the leash or you forgot to put the leash on, you don't want them running into the middle of the street. If my dogs run into the middle of the street, there's usually no cars.
Yeah.
Not that they do that, but like if we're outside and you know they're not on a leash, it's safe.
Yeah. You know that they're likely not going to get hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that also speaks to property value, right? And budget.
Yep. Yeah,
so,
for sure. But what I would say is if you do happen to be on a busier street, it's helpful to have some depth before your house starts, or even have a porch with stairs, because then you can baby gate it.
Yeah.
Like my house exits right onto street level, so we have very little setback. So as soon as we walk out the door, we're on the street. But if you do have kids or dogs and you have, you know, an ability to like put a baby gate on a porch or a little bit setback, it's definitely
kids. You can train dogs. Like
but you can't train bad drivers.
No, you're very, very right.
There was a little safety notice.
Oh my God. Yeah. This is a PSA for Matt.
I know.
I was just going to say that. I'm not a mother, but I'm petitioning for a spokeswoman.
I like it. Here we go. Mad Mothers Against Drunk Drivers.
If you're liking what you're seeing so far, don't forget to hit subscribe and check out my other socials. Another thing that I think would be great to talk about, because we often complain to one another about things like this, is that perhaps not all agents are professionals, or necessarily know what they should be doing. And I think that the real estate industry as a whole gets a lot of hate because there is like lax regulations to a degree. Like it's very difficult to prove a lot of things that agents might do wrong, or, you know, to actually regulate them. And it's become such a common like part-time side hustle industry that I feel like the view of realtors has become very negative. And I get tons of comments that just awful things like, and now the perception is for the entire industry. And I think it's very similar also for mortgage brokers. And I've been thinking about this a lot, about how we so often run into agents who try to bend the rules, or either bend the rules or don't even know that those are the rules, and end up getting their clients into difficult situations. You were talking off camera about how you had someone call you who had an agent put them in a bad position and they were trying to get your help. I've gotten those calls so many times. And, you know, I think it would be interesting to kind of talk a little bit about some experiences we've had with, you know, agents that didn't necessarily do what they should have done, and kind of how we would change that. And just like to go into that professionalism, yesterday I was driving and the car in front of me had an 8.5 by 11 piece of printer paper. Printed on it said, "For mortgage info, call." No. With a phone number. Immediately after, they pulled over and took in an Uber passenger. And I see there are agents that do that too. And I think that when the public sees people who are not taking their profession seriously as a profession, they then assume that everyone just wants to make money and doesn't actually care. But I think that we all really care about our clients and doing things the way that they should be done.
Wasn't someone in our office dealing with somebody that like couldn't answer the call because they were at their day job?
Yep, that's happened to me too.
Yeah.
And I was actually wondering, because I've been getting so many like really late phone calls, especially for feedback from agents lately, part of me is wondering, like, are they not calling me during business hours because they're working? Yeah. Why else would it occur to you to call me at 8:45 to ask for feedback, that's, like, if I showed it a week ago?
Yeah. I had one agent submit an offer, and then in the email submitting the offer saying he wasn't going to be available until 5 o'clock because he was in court. Dude's a lawyer. Like, what are you doing?
You're screwing both people. Well, you're screwing your legal clients.
Offers are it too, buddy. Like I'm going to call you if I can't get a hold of you. That means your client's not getting it.
I had an agent. I was taking offers on my listing the other day. Very clearly, offers are at 2. It's in the listing. It is in the instruction email I sent out for days. Yeah. And this agent calls me, and it's 3:10, and he's like, "Hey, you got any offers?" I was like, I have 3. You have the email that says there's 3 offers. And he was like, "Oh yeah. And when are you presenting the offers to the seller?" I was like, "In 10 minutes." And he's
as I already stated.
He goes, "Oh, so I don't have time to submit an offer?" And I said, "The deadline was an hour ago." "No, you don't have time." I the time was very clear. And he goes, well, I was busy. I'm like, well, so what? Your client understands they're not going to get this house because you were too busy to do. Every single year, our company has like an awards that we do every year. Every single year on awards, I have been in the middle of multiples. I don't know how it happens, but it always happens. And I always run outside, sit in my car on my laptop, because you have to make time. Because if your clients want a property, it's our job to work in their best interest.
And if you can't physically do it, give it to someone, like give it to your colleague.
From your colleague, like your office.
Yeah.
You know?
I was once on an African safari with like the worst internet service of all time. Yeah. You know me and my African safaris. And I couldn't deal with it. So obviously I'm like, I'm not even going to try. Just deal with it.
Yeah, you'll have someone else deal with it.
Like, because I'm going to do a disservice to you if, well, first of all, I want to get you the house, and this tent is not giving me good Wi-Fi. So
half a bar.
Maybe. Yeah. And like we're having a brownout in an hour. So we're not doing this. But yeah, you can't do it. You're just going to screw your clients, and that's not fair.
Yeah. And even
So did he submit an offer?
No.
So his clients are hopefully listening to this.
Yeah, and are like, why didn't we get the house? Oh, and I had clients approach me, like new clients approach me who had fired their realtor because their dream house.
Oh no.
They wanted to offer, and the agent was like, I'm busy. And so they didn't even get to offer. And the worst part was that the house sold for less than they were willing to pay for it.
Have you ever said those words to your client other than like, I can't take you that day, I'll take you another day? But like, have you ever said, I'm busy?
No.
Like,
no, I am always available.
I'm never busy. Like, I can't imagine saying like, sorry, I'm busy. Can't get your house. Can't make money.
What's busy mean?
Exactly.
Oh, busy street.
Oh,
and
nice segue.
Poucher.
Is it poucher?
Or poucher.
I said poucher. Well, I'm français.
Okay. Yeah, I'll get a text. They're like, hey, are you free to hop on a quick call? I'm like...
Yeah, I'll drop everything.
Literally everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, kids. You're making yourself dinner. I'm not busy. Yeah, I'm not busy. I mean, I am, but I'm not.
Never for the client.
Never for like an actual offer.
Yeah.
Like if I can't do a date that day, I'll make it work another day, whatever, or my colleague will. But like, sorry, I'm not going to write an offer because I'm busy.
No.
So they can't get a house?
Yep.
No. That just makes no sense.
That's ridiculous. That guy should lose his license. Because that makes us all look bad.
Yep. And then you witnessed me enraged on a phone call a couple weeks ago because I submitted.
I like you mad.
I think we all get a little spicy.
Oh,
hey?
yeah.
I get very heated.
You get curt, but like so monotone. You're like, actually, I will not do that. Am I right? You're like, as a matter of fact, I won't.
Yeah. And then I hang up the phone and I'm like, the other day I was so angry. I called Brandon because I was like, he answered. He's like, what's up? I was like, I need to yell for 3 minutes. And he was like, okay. And I was like, I lost it. So we submit an offer on a condo, and obviously because it's 2025 and it's a condo, we have a status review condition in because who are we trying to impress? We're bringing you an offer. Be happy.
Yeah. Are there 9 other offers? Exactly.
Yeah. Have you even had 9 showings?
Yeah.
So we bring an offer. This agent calls me and I'm like walking into the office and Lauren's witnessing this conversation on my side of it. The agent goes, so I see you have conditions in there. I was like, yeah. Mm-hmm. She goes, can you take them out? And I said, well, I have a financing condition in there because I can. And also we're already going to be conditional on status. So why not just do financing?
Lump them together?
And she's like, but like, why do you need the status condition? And I said, are you asking me this for real? And she was like, yeah, what is your concern with the status certificate? I was like, oh, I don't know, that it's a disaster.
I told you she's cute. She's mad.
It was a disaster, so you already had it.
No, we didn't have it. I was like, but she said, what's your concern? I was like, maybe that it's a disaster. How am I supposed to know? So now I start explaining to her
and the importance. I don't own 3 properties in this building.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't go to the board meetings. Are there lawsuits? What's the reserve fund? These are all things you need to know before you buy a condo.
Yeah, you're buying into a company.
And she's like, well, you can just take it out and review the status certificate after. I was like, what the hell are you going to do then? Nothing.
Do you think this is 2021?
Do you
think? What do you think this is?
Do you know what year it is?
Yeah,
2021 was 4 years ago.
I'm going to put 17 conditions in if I want.
Yeah.
And you're going to take it.
But honestly, I mean, my first question would be, can you take them out?
But why?
Oh, you would not. Not a downtown condo.
Not a condo. I would
this
never.
Isn't Scrivener Square.
No, sorry. You're right. I wouldn't with a condo. I mean, I did with the house that I sold last night.
Oh, for sure.
But you know.
But you also
the
had a home inspection, a pre-home inspection.
I did. I said, what's with the financing condition? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's different. But with a condo, unless they have the status ahead of time, you can't.
Yeah, no,
and they didn't
normal.
have it, so it's not like we could look at it and see that it wasn't concerning or have it pre-reviewed.
Totally normal and expected. To
And this agent was like so baffled that I wouldn't take it out.
Worried that she's saying that right away. You're like spidey sense.
Like, oh, there's something wrong.
There's for sure, yeah, something's totally
What
wrong.
building was it?
Pantages.
Can you say it properly?
Pantages.
Pantages.
I said it right,
there's
yeah?
lots of things wrong with it.
Yeah, surely. And it was also a very small condo. Like, there's not a big market for that right now. So work with the offer you have, and that's it.
There's not a market.
Well, apparently there's a market. I had one buyer. Oh. So there's minimum one.
So did you get it?
No. Because they
God
wouldn't.
Damn it.
They wouldn't
even sign back an offer with a
No,
condition.
they told me that their sign back would be asking, and I said, bye-bye.
And is it currently on the market still?
Of course it is. At the same price.
Weird.
At the Pantages.
Pantages.
Put on your
Don't you
pantaloons
think
and head to
Pantages
the
sounds better,
Pantages.
though?
No,
Really?
Pantages.
No, it's the Pantages.
All right, whatever.
Oh my god.
Also, another one, which you'll both really enjoy, is I was dealing with multiples on my listing, and I called ultimately there were two offers that were pretty close, and we didn't want to do a third. They were within $800 of each other.
Ooh,
But
that hurts.
but one of them had check in hand and good deposit. The other one was less than 5% no check. So when I let the agent know what happened, they call me and go, Anya, you can't do this to me.
Yeah, I can.
Verbatim, I said, I actually can.
It's already done.
It's already done.
We
signed, sealed, delivered, baby.
And, like, you're in multiples. Bring me the check.
This agent, first of all...
Did you give them a heads up that they were so close? I would have.
Hold on.
Okay.
So there's more context required in this scenario because offer review started at 3. Mm-hmm. Okay? It is now 8:30.
Oh.
Ew.
It took this agent and the top two almost 4 hours to get me their improved offers.
No.
My clients were very happy with the price they got. Both agents told me this was the absolute best they could do.
Fair enough.
I didn't want to play games.
Hours?
Yeah, we weren't done until 9, almost 9, and the agent who was not successful when I called to say, hey, we're offers are pretty close, we're doing another round, whatever, was like, hey, can you just send me a sign back because I'm busy? And I said,
I'm busy.
I said,
There it is again.
There it is. Full
Those
circle.
2 words.
no,
Okay, bye-bye.
I said,
No,
I can't send you a sign back.
yeah.
We're in multiple offers. If I send you a sign back, I am now alienating the other
Yeah.
offer and I'm not working in my client's best interest. You pull over and you write the offer, or you call someone from your office and they write the offer. But it took 4 hours. So at that point, it didn't make... My clients were happy with it. One of them had the check in hand.
Yeah.
And
a healthier deposit.
And I didn't want to play games. Like, I didn't...
fair
we
enough.
didn't need to squeeze them for more money.
No.
And, they said
And
it was their best.
you already did the improved round.
I did the improved
wasn't
round.
the first shot.
I said best and final. The agent made it very clear to me this was the best. And they said to me then, they were like, but you said the price was good. I said, nope. I said, don't tell me verbally. Put it on paper.
Yeah.
And they go, well, I did put it on paper. I said, yeah. And it took you 4 hours. My clients want to go to bed. I want to go to bed.
Yeah.
There is no use to it. Like, why? You're not entitled to another round.
And 4 hours? What are you doing in 4 hours?
Driving, being busy. I don't
But
know.
like, you can do
probably
DocuSign
in
in
court.
6. Like, yeah, he's probably his other job. In like 60 seconds, you can get that done.
Yeah, if you're not locked and loaded, like I tell my clients to clear their schedule when we do offer nights, but maybe they didn't have very much experience with multiples, but I had a very clear conversation with this agent. I said, listen, you and the other agent got the exact same information.
Yeah.
I can't play sides. I can't pick favorites. You both got the exact same information and you did with it what you chose to do.
Yeah.
You are not entitled to a third round. My job
You're
is
lucky you got a second
But
round.
it's also not your choice.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
It's not my choice.
It's not your choice.
And that's what I said. That's what I said. I was like, listen, my clients saw the offers and they chose. That
They
was
were
it.
happy with the price.
They
They
were
wanna
very
go to bed.
They want to go to bed. They're
Yeah.
done. They don't
Yeah.
want to. They don't want to keep this up.
And like you guys both dragged it on for 4 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's stupid. That's
Yeah.
annoying. Well, I'm glad your client got it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know why people decide to call so late at night.
I feel like it's an epidemic at this. It's like an epidemic in real estate now.
But
is the lack of boundaries.
When the sun goes down.
The sun goes down at 9 right now. Maybe that's why. Maybe they're like,
Oh,
it's bright
maybe.
outside.
Yeah, maybe that's true.
But this is even probably more important for you guys because you have kids. But like, I don't want to be answering my phone after.
No.
I
I
want.
also don't think people make good decisions late at night. Like I shut it down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I shut it down.
Yeah. Yep.
I've had people
I've
send
fully
me
stopped.
offers at like 10 o'clock at night, and I won't even
No.
engage.
No.
Really? So you just say I'm busy?
Yeah.
Well, if
Or
it's,
I just don't answer. I just don't respond.
I mean,
Yeah. Why
What?
do you
I'm not-
assume I'm awake right now?
Not happening.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
I'll like, and if it's time, I had someone once call me and the night before offer night be like, I want to send you a bully offer. I was like,
Oh, I
it's
hate that.
10 p.m.
And that-
and
you're not
offers are
bullying now,
tomorrow.
yeah.
It's not a bully. And he's like, but my client doesn't want to be in competition. And I was like,
Just done that last
you couldn't have done it 3 days ago. Like, why'd you have to wait? And I was like, truthfully, I don't even know that my client's awake right now. So
Yeah.
I like messaged my client. I was like, you up? I was like, are you awake? Because someone wants to send us an offer right now. And he was like I was going to go to bed.
Yeah.
And truthfully, at that point, I like accepting that bully or having them send it puts us at a, or
Yeah.
him at a disservice, like my client at a disservice, because then there's no option for other competition.
Well, and people are already, because it's so close to the offer date, they've already probably got their deposit checks. They've
Yep.
discussed their prices. They've
probably got the offer ready to go.
probably got the offer ready to go.
But they've also probably gone to bed.
They've probably
gone to bed
gone
too.
to bed.
Yeah.
I like sleep.
Yeah.
It is important.
Sleep is so important.
Well, I think that's rude of the agent too. Like, if you're gonna do a bully offer, do it the first or second day it's on the market.
Yep.
That's a bully offer.
Yep,
The night
or
before,
like
you're just being a jackass.
pre-open house.
Yeah.
But yeah, night before is just,
You're
that's not a
being a
bully. You
jackass.
just don't want to wait the extra day.
Yeah. Like, you're lazy. And they're probably going to their other job.
Or
the
they're
next
busy.
day. Or they're busy.
Or they're busy.
Got a big case.
Big court case.
Oh my gosh. That's amazing.
Wasn't there like a big thing with the government? Like, all these government employees got busted for having side hustles, like mortgage brokers, real estate agents, and they were using government like obviously resources. And I could have gotten the story somehow wrong, but like
I do vaguely remember
something
this,
that-
and I think it was something, perhaps there was something to do with a conflict of interest.
Yeah, there was something weird. Like, they were finding out, I don't know what it was. Maybe there was like Toronto Housing coming out, like
Oh, yeah,
going
that
to
would make
market.
sense,
So
like
then they were
insider information.
something kind of scandalous like that. And then they were like, 4:00 when they got off their government job, they would go and do something shady. Yeah, so they were dual job, and then using their daytime job to like send offers, talk to clients, like from their .gov.on or whatever email. It was super shady.
I think it's a real problem. Like, I hate that I'm constantly like getting these comments. Like, people say really mean
Yeah.
things, and it's because
Like on your socials.
yeah.
You're a lot more exposed.
I am exposed, but that's what people are thinking. The
Yeah.
general public sentiment is that, like, I think realtors might be the most hated profession in Toronto.
Yeah.
Because I get, like, I do get where some people are coming from. There are things that people say that make zero sense, but like I understand that from the outside, you hear the stories about shady realtors with like commission steering, and this guy in BC, I don't know if you saw the news, who like pretty much bought a house that his client was interested in through going through these channels. Like,
yeah, what was that?
so I might be getting some of the details wrong, but this is what I remember because I talked about this a couple months ago. So an agent in BC had a client he was repping. This client wanted to purchase a house. They submit an offer, but I think at the time maybe his budget was too low, or he like still needed to get his mortgage sorted out. So they took a break. In that time, the agent decided he wanted the house. So he's in Vegas with his friends, has his friends sign the paperwork as the buyers with the right to assign it to him prior to closing, with an agreement that they'll share the profit 50-50. And this was before the peak. Okay. So that's a very critical piece of information. Yeah. Buyer then turns around to the agent, says that he wants to buy the house. The agent is like, no, it's not available anymore. Doesn't tell him that he bought it. Nothing like that. Continues working with him for several months.
Oh my God.
If I recall correctly, also sold his house. And then like a year goes by, and the only reason his client found out that he bought it was because he saw him on the front lawn.
Ew, that is so gross.
So the buyer filed a lawsuit and won.
Oh.
And I think BC courts, there was something in the news recently. I believe that they have revoked, his license has now been revoked, and he's been ordered to pay like $120,000 to some. I know that he has to like repay a large percentage of the profit back to the buyer, but
my God.
but that's been put on hold because he's also being sued by the co-conspirator because they were supposed to split the profits 50-50 and he didn't pay them.
Oh, this guy's just shady. He's just bad news.
Super shady.
Can you imagine?
I just don't have time for this. Like, oh my God.
Yeah, who does?
You're busy.
I'm busy.
I'm busy.
I'm busy petting the dog, making lunch for the kids. Who has time to come up with this like
Scheme. It's a full scheme.
It's a full scheme. But it's stories like that that have diluted the perception, like the public perception of the industry. And
like when the whole multiple offer, like people get so weird about that. Like,
really
you're going to
weird about
represent
it.
your, like, it just gives me the ick.
Yeah, there's a lot of.
But unfortunately, I think it's just they haven't worked with a good realtor.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And the, but I think that happens in every industry. There are bad lawyers. There are shady lawyers.
Yeah, there's terrible doctors.
There are terrible doctors. But you don't hate all doctors because of the doctors that are bad, because you still have trust in the profession.
Yes.
Whereas I think in real estate, people have zero trust in the profession and have to find trust in the individual.
Yes, I would agree.
So you find a trusted realtor that you like and that you relate to and is good at their job. And those are the people that will be your cheerleaders, and they will refer you, and those are the people that believe in the profession because they have seen the professional.
And it's benefited them.
It's benefited them.
Value. Yeah.
They understand the value. And I'm not here to say everyone needs to use a realtor. If you want to self-represent, by all means.
Yeah.
There are people that want to use realtors for their own reasons, but it's the realtors that end up putting clients in bad positions that make the entire industry look bad.
100%.
And I think there needs to be something done about it. I don't know how it can change, but it has to.
I mean, I think we can try.
The three of us.
Let's do it.
We'll
Let's just
band
do
together.
it. We'll band together. Yeah, no.
We'll podcast at a time.
We'll make t-shirts.
Amazing.
Yeah, we're one of the good ones.
Yeah, I love it.
That's a new tagline, your email signature. Lauren Richards, sales representative.
One of the good ones.
One of the good ones.
I have 6 phones in my hand. Okay, I like that.
Okay, well, thank you both so much. I feel like we've just rambled, but I hope that in our rambling, people will find some nuggets of value.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe not.
Good luck to the editor.
No, thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.